call in Iran. How copy? Over.
Copy, sir. Thank you very much. Copy, sir. Me alter to Iran. Thank you.
Blue Sky 4, this is U.S. Warship 115. I understand you will return to your previous port of call in Iran. This is U.S. Warship 115, standing by on channel 16. Out.
You just heard the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz in action. The USS Rafael Peralta is one of several ships still enforcing the blockade. The U.S. has now forced 21 ships to return to Iran since it began. But how exactly does this work? Our next guest helped shape U.S. maritime policies at the Pentagon. Retired Navy Captain Brent Sadler joins us now to break it all down. Now, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And before we get into exactly how this works, can you tell us what the current situation is right now? There are reports out of the Middle East that Iran has now closed the Strait of Hormuz. Can you give us the latest on the ground there?
Yes, and thanks for having me on. It's a topic that, as expected, is very dynamic, and it appears that elements in Iran are going back on their word to not challenge shipping and are threatening to try to at least shut the straits again. Whether or not they're able to, I think that question's been answered in the negative, given the successful weeks of attacks against their Navy, their Air Force, and their missile forces and drone forces. But it will have an impact on the insurance or the underwriters, which will have a downward pressure on shipping.
So, and now let's step back and talk about, it looks like it's sort of an obvious thing now in retrospect, but when President Trump made the decision to say, okay, no, actually, Iran has spent the last 40 years trying to control the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to go do this, and we're going to shut it down from Iranian oil coming and going freely. Explain how all of that works.
No, absolutely. It's all about leverage, and it's about confidence in safe access or safe transit through the straits. And the Iranians knew all they had to do was get one or two hits of ships or even have a mine spotted to have the effect of shutting shipping down. So it was necessary for the U.S. to demonstratively or very visibly sail through there. That's why you saw the destroyers and mine clearance operations over last weekend, and then you started to see the confidence go up and the shipping to pass through. And of course, the most significant leverage the United States has, and where Iran is the weakest, is their economy relies on shipping, specifically their energy market. Well, a vast majority of their trade, and the $90 billion trade before this war, is due to commerce and petroleum. Kharg Island, 90% of it. The rest of it, more closer to ports down along the Straits of Hormuz. So you control the straits, or at least you control the approaches to it, which the U.S. Navy does have that capacity, is demonstrating it right now. It basically holds the Iranian regime by the jugular. And it's a good point of leverage. It's one that should not be given up quickly or lightly.
Right. It all seems very obvious in retrospect, but it's amazing that no one had sort of figured all that out before now. Brent Sadler, thank you so much for joining us.